Hey guys, today we're just going to do a little how-to video. We're going to see if we can help you out. We're doing valve cover gaskets, 2007 Cadillac Escalade. Got it all right there. So before you get started, we're going to recommend that you start on the driver's side. Ain't that right, T? Yeah. So T says we start on the driver's side. It's a little bit easier to do. You're going to need, for all this stuff, pretty much all you need is a 8mm, a 10mm deep, and maybe a screwdriver. And literally, you can get the whole thing done with that. So if you just have your tools out and your socket set out, this is going to be, as far as tools go, you're going to, no problem, right? You going to have any problem with that, T? No? All right. So it's not really that hard of a job, so I would recommend, to save yourself a little bit of money, go for it. The passenger side is going to be a little bit more difficult. That's why we say start with the driver's side. And just follow through the video. We start at the driver's side, and then we move over to the passenger side. So we'll give you some tips along the way. Just follow the video, and hopefully you'll be able to get through it just like we did. Thanks. So one more thing, we decided that if you do have a medium 10-inch sockets with a pivoting head, to get to that very back one on the passenger side, that would be another tool that you need. You can do it without it, but if you have it, you'll probably save yourself 30 minutes. Because I mean, literally each of these should only take about 30 minutes, but getting that bolt out by traditional means takes a good while. So if you have that, or you just run down to the store. Unfortunately, we decided to do this on a Sunday, and it got a little late, and these stores aren't open, so we couldn't just run and go get one. We had to make do with what we had. Hope you enjoy the video.
Take this little cap off, this one bolt. It's kind of hiding it. If you don't take it off, you won't be able to get that whole thing off to get to your actual valve cover. So take that off, and then when you're done, tighten it back up and just slide it right back on.
This is the driver's side, as you can see, alternator, valve cover now. So go ahead and tell us what you had to do so far.
You gotta take these 5 10mm bolts out.
Got 5 10mm bolts.
And you're gonna remove your little guy that your spark plugs into.
All right, so you got
get that out of the way.
It's a bolt-on piece that bolts on top of that valve cover gasket, and then you take out the.
Let me take this out and show them. And then this just slides right on out.
Yep, it was pretty easy. So, oh, here, let me get another look at that. Turn that over. So on that, you're gonna have those 4. You got these 4. You got 4 8mm screws that you gotta take out. So there's a bolt-on part that has the 10mm, and then you just got the 4 underneath, and that's it. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. So sometimes.
Go ahead and you got your bushings.
All right, sometimes these screws can be a little bit of a pain to get out. We're gonna kind of go over getting one out for you. Oh, see, he's digging this screwdriver in there. That'll get that.
Break it off.
Get that off. Yep.
And then it slides right out.
Yep. There you go. Easy peasy. You can use a set of side cutters, and then this is all part of what comes with the new one. So you're gonna get a new
grommet,
little new grommet for that screw. So I'm gonna put all those in there. We tried to clean these. These were really dirty, so we're still in the process of cleaning them a little bit. Tito's helping. I'm not sure you want to follow his rules, but so far so good. Alright, so putting on these grommets can actually be difficult too if you don't know. So basically what you're going to do is going to put that on the edge there and just squeeze it in, and then it pops right on. We'll do one more. Look at this guy. Alright.
This is loose, so make sure you push that down. Going at an angle nice and firm. And then just pop it on. Push it to the top.
Last one. Back up a little bit.
Easy peasy.
Done. grommets are on. Look at this guy. Tell you what, man, even if it takes you a couple extra minutes, let them guys help you out. He is banging it up. So we didn't take the time to clean the whole thing. I mean, you could, but really what you definitely want to do no matter what is you want to clean these grooves out so that your gasket fits back in there real well. You want to clean this one out and the one on the engine. So we got that all cleaned up. We're fine with that, and we're going to put it all back together.
Your gasket in, that you get the grooves in there. You can see in the gasket the new grooves. Make sure you get it in there. If it's not in there right, you're just gonna have more engine oil leaks. So I'll get this guy back in and we'll try and get it back on the Cadillac and see what happens.
There it is. Alright, so all we did was slide it back in there. He's just gonna put those 4 bolts, the 8mm ones, back in there. Just lining it up. You want to just double check and make sure your gasket didn't shift on you. Just little things like that. Once we get these in there finger tight, we'll just go around it with our hand, our finger, and make sure that that gasket didn't pop out anywhere, and then we'll tighten those up, and then we'll put on the other section. Alright, if you can see back there, go ahead and put your finger on it real quick. See that little tube right there? We didn't kind of mention that, but you don't want to get done and forget to put that thing back on. So just make sure when you're back there tightening that bolt, just go ahead and slip it back on there, and it should be good to go. But yeah, you don't want to forget that. Now, obviously these have rubber grommets on them, so you don't need to hulk them down. You just need to compress that rubber grommet and make sure they're tight, but don't over tighten them. And that's about all there is to it. Let's say this side we probably maybe 30 minutes.
Yep.
Maybe 45 with Tito helping us out. Alright, we just added on that spark plug wiring harness. You're just gonna move it back up into position and put in those, we got 5, is it? 5 of the 10mm screws to go in there.
Deep socket.
You kind of go ahead and show them this screw real quick.
You need deep sockets.
So you need a deep socket or a deeper, mid-deep socket to get those back on there. So be aware of that. The infamous 10mm. So have you a couple of them available. To the passenger side, so we've kind of looked this up ourselves, and they're saying that get back to that bowl way back there, it's really a pain in the butt. And then obviously you can see there's a couple more hoses in the way on this one, so we'll kind of update you as we go. But we're going to take out the 10mm bolts on top, and then we'll get to the bottom. So the first thing we did, we took off this little hose guide. And then what it does is, go ahead and point to it if you can. So it was on top of this, so you got to take that off. Just in the beginning it has like a little bolt there, and that reveals a bolt that you got to take out for that spark plug, I don't even know what that thing is. Spark plug harness, where all your spark plugs wire into. There we go. So we're back on the passenger side here. It's just really clips. There's some clips in here that you're going to be fighting with, and just be prepared for that. Like I said, we already warned you. The passenger side is way more difficult than the driver's side, and it's just because there's more stuff. You got some hoses, you got some wires and stuff that you're going to have to deal with, and you know how some of these clips are, and on some of these cars, man, they just don't come apart anymore, and you don't want to break them. So just know that you're going to deal with that, and take your time, don't break it, and you'll be fine. So I just wanted to go over one of the clips that you're going to be dealing with. You'll pull this out, and then just lift up on this piece. This bottom piece will drop right out. So you got to lift up on that pretty high. So once you get this locking pin out, just lift up on that, pull down. You may need both hands, obviously. I got a camera in one hand, but That's the most difficult plug you're going to be dealing with. In fact, it's the only plug that you really need to deal with. As you can see, there's one way back there. This is on the passenger side, and this is the hard one. We're using a very, very short 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, sorry, 10 millimeter ratcheting. There it is right there, ratcheting box wrench there. So that was really the only tool that we could get back there to loosen it up. So again, this is exactly like the driver's side, but that one back bolt, when you take these off and think that you're to the end, you're not. You've got that one way back there. And like I said, that really small 10 millimeter ratcheting box wrench is the one. And that's what that's doing, is that's gonna get off our, you know, we're just still taking off our spark plug harness there. Just got to keep working with it. Take your time, 1/4 of an inch at a time. Eventually you'll get it out.
Is there like easy?
All right, so there it is in his hand. What we had to do is we had to get that last bolt off, and it was very, very difficult.
Hello.
And we took all the plugs off of this one because we couldn't just drop it to the side. We had to take all the plugs off to get it out, but it's out, and we're gonna replace the gaskets. Part, and it's that one right there. That one right there is all the way up against
The firewall.
back, way back there. Can't see it on this video, but man, like I said, we just took that box ratchet 10 millimeter, got it loose, and then we ended up putting in the other bolts to tighten everything else down, and then we were able to finger it out of there, but it was rough. Now we're taking out the 4 8 millimeter bolts, and hopefully we'll get this gasket changed out, put it all back together. All right, so as you finish up, just make sure to go through and check all your hoses, all your wires, make sure everything's tight, all your plugs. Make sure nothing came loose while you were putting it all back together. And start it up, check your oil maybe, and you should be all good to go. Hey, so if you guys go ahead and take this job on, if you got an easier way to do something, add it to the comments for the next guy, or if you like it, give us a thumbs up and let people know. Thanks.